The house had been quiet for so many years that Michael Turner sometimes forgot what happiness sounded like. Not real happiness, not the polite smiles he gave coworkers or the tired little nods he offered neighbors when they asked how he was doing. He meant the kind of happiness that fills a room so completely that even the walls seem alive. Before tragedy entered his life, his home used to sound different. His wife Olivia had loved music. She would dance while cooking dinner, spinning around the kitchen barefoot while little Emma laughed from her high chair. Their home had once been warm with light, teasing conversations, and the smell of cinnamon candles Olivia bought every autumn. Then one winter morning, everything changed. A car accident. One phone call. One terrible moment that split Michael's life into before and after. After Olivia died, silence became permanent. Michael tried to remain strong for Emma, who was only 9 years old at the time. He learned how to braid her hair from online videos. He learned how to comfort nightmares even while fighting his own. He attended school meetings, packed lunches, helped with homework, and pretended he was surviving better than he actually was. But grief is strange. It does not always scream. Sometimes it simply sits beside you for years. Emma grew older watching her father become quieter with every passing season. At 16, she was mature beyond her age, kind, intelligent, and deeply protective of him. Too protective. She worried every time he looked tired. She noticed when he skipped dinner. She heard him walking through the house late at night unable to sleep. Sometimes she would secretly stand outside his bedroom door, listening to the silence inside, wondering if loneliness could actually kill a person. And maybe part of it already had. Across the city, Sophia Bennett understood loneliness differently. Her pain had not arrived suddenly like Michael's. It had arrived slowly. Cruelly. Her marriage died piece by piece over the years, buried beneath broken promises, cold conversations, and emotional distance that became impossible to repair. Her husband Daniel had once been charming and attentive. But eventually work mattered more than family. Then came the lies. The late nights. The excuses. And finally another woman. Sophia still remembered the exact moment he left. Lily had been 13. Rain hammered against the windows while Daniel carried his suitcase toward the front door. "Please don't go," Lily cried. But he did. And something inside Lily hardened forever. Sophia tried to stay strong for her daughter, but pain leaked into everything. Into the way she smiled too quickly. Into the dark circles beneath her eyes. Into the exhaustion she carried constantly. Lily became angry at the world. At school she pushed people away before they could disappoint her. She stopped trusting kindness because she believed every good thing eventually disappeared. Especially men. "Don't date again," she told her mother once. Sophia looked at her sadly. "Why would you say that?" "Because they always leave." The words shattered Sophia more than Lily realized. Fate brought Michael and Sophia together on a cold October evening. Emma had accidentally left her sketchbook at a small cafe near school. Michael stopped there after work to retrieve it. Outside, heavy rain flooded the streets while thunder rolled across the city. When Michael entered the cafe, completely soaked, the wind slammed the door behind him so loudly several customers turned around. Sophia laughed softly from her table near the window. "Looks like the storm has personal issues with you," she joked. Michael blinked in surprise. For a moment, he forgot how beautiful simple laughter could sound. He smiled awkwardly. "Wouldn't be the first thing angry at me today." Sophia smiled back. That should have been the end of it. Instead, it became the beginning of everything. Over the following weeks, they kept seeing each other. At first by coincidence. Then intentionally. Coffee became conversations. Conversations became long walks after work. Michael found himself talking about things he had buried for years, his fears, his loneliness, the guilt of moving forward after losing Olivia. Sophia listened carefully, never interrupting. And when she spoke about her divorce, Michael listened too. There was no judgment between them. Only understanding. Two exhausted people discovering they no longer felt completely alone. One evening they sat beside the river wrapped in coats against the cold wind. "I forgot what it feels like to enjoy someone's company," Michael admitted quietly. Sophia looked down at her coffee cup. "So did I." Their eyes met. And suddenly the silence between them felt intimate instead of empty. Emma noticed the change in her father almost immediately. He smiled more often. He cooked actual meals instead of reheating frozen food. Sometimes she heard him humming again. It scared her. Because happiness meant change. And change meant risking more pain. When Michael finally told her about Sophia, Emma's chest tightened painfully. "You like her?" she asked carefully. Michael hesitated. "Yes." Emma forced a smile, but inside panic spread through her heart. Part of her feared loving Sophia would somehow betray her mother's memory. Another part feared losing her father emotionally to someone else. Meanwhile, Lily reacted even worse. When Sophia mentioned Michael during dinner, Lily immediately rolled her eyes. "Another man. Great." Sophia sighed tiredly. "It's not like that. It always is." Lily. "No, seriously. First they act perfect, then they ruin everything." Sophia watched her daughter walk away and felt helpless. The first time the families met officially was painful for everyone involved. Michael invited Sophia and Lily for dinner at his house. Emma barely looked at them. Lily looked openly annoyed from the second she entered. The tension around the table became unbearable almost immediately. Michael tried making conversation. Sophia tried smiling. But the girls exchanged cold glances the entire evening. Then came the moment that shattered everything. Michael gently touched Sophia's hand while speaking. Emma noticed. And froze. Her eyes filled instantly with tears. "You're replacing Mom," she whispered. Michael's face lost all color. "No, Emma, sweetheart. You are." She stood abruptly and ran upstairs. The bedroom door slammed so hard the walls shook. Silence filled the house. Sophia slowly pulled her hand away. Lily crossed her arms protectively. And Michael sat there feeling like the worst father in the world. That night he sat outside Emma's bedroom for hours. "Please talk to me," he whispered through the door. No answer came. Finally, near midnight, Emma spoke softly. "If you love her, what happens to Mom?" Michael closed his eyes painfully. "Nothing happens to your mother," he said quietly. "Nobody could ever replace her. But you smile differently now." His heart broke hearing that. "Emma, your mother taught me how to love. Losing her nearly destroyed me. But loving someone again doesn't erase what we had." Emma cried silently behind the door. "I'm scared," she admitted. "So am I." Months passed. And things became harder before they became better. When Michael and Sophia announced they planned to move in together, both girls reacted terribly. Lily shouted first. "This is insane." Emma stopped speaking entirely. The new house felt like a battlefield. Arguments erupted constantly. Whose room was bigger? Who used the bathroom too long? Whose music was too loud? Whose dishes were left in the sink? Every tiny irritation exploded into conflict because the real issue was much deeper. Neither girl wanted to admit they were terrified. Terrified of becoming one broken family instead of two separate ones. Terrified their parents would stop choosing them first. Terrified of attachment. One evening, Michael overheard Emma crying quietly in the bathroom. "She hates me," Emma whispered to Sophia. Sophia gently touched her shoulder. "No, sweetheart. Lily's hurting." Emma looked away. I'm hurting too. Sophia's eyes filled with tears because for the first time Emma allowed her close enough to comfort her. Winter arrived heavily that year. Snow covered the streets. Cold winds rattled the windows at night. Then came the evening that changed everything. Emma received a phone call from her best friend's mother. There had been a terrible car accident. Her friend Ava was in intensive care. Emma collapsed onto the kitchen floor shaking violently. Michael was still stuck at work during a snowstorm. Sophia rushed toward Emma immediately. But before she could reach her, Lily was already kneeling beside her. "Hey," Lily whispered urgently. "Look at me." Emma sobbed uncontrollably. "I can't lose her too." The words hit Lily deeply. Because she understood exactly what that fear felt like. Slowly, awkwardly, Lily wrapped her arms around Emma. At first Emma resisted. Then she completely fell apart. Lily held her for nearly an hour while snow fell quietly outside the windows. That night changed everything between them. Later, sitting on Emma's bedroom floor surrounded by blankets and cold tea, they finally talked honestly. About grief. About abandonment. About fear. Emma admitted she could barely remember her mother's perfume anymore. Lily confessed she checked her father's social media every night hoping he missed her. They cried together. And for the first time, neither felt alone. After that night, something softened between them. Not instantly. Not perfectly. But genuinely. Lily started knocking before entering Emma's room instead of barging in angrily. Emma began saving Lily a seat beside her during breakfast. They slowly learned each other's habits. Lily discovered Emma listened to sad music when anxious. Emma learned Lily pretended to be rude whenever she felt vulnerable. A shared joke. A borrowed sweater. A late-night conversation no one else hears. Spring brought warmth back into the house. One afternoon Michael returned home early from work and stopped in the hallway after hearing loud laughter upstairs. Real laughter. The kind he had not heard in years. He quietly opened Emma's bedroom door. The girls were dancing terribly to old music while trying on ridiculous outfits from boxes in the attic. Sophia appeared beside him silently. Michael looked at her with tears in his eyes. "They're happy," he whispered. Sophia smiled softly. "No," she corrected gently. "They're becoming sisters." A year later, the family officially celebrated together. Not because paperwork declared them connected. But because love already had. Emma introduced Lily at school as her stepsister for the first time without hesitation. Lily defended Emma during an argument with classmates so fiercely that Emma nearly cried afterward. Michael and Sophia watched their daughters grow closer every month, and sometimes it felt miraculous. Because none of them had expected this. Not after grief. Not after betrayal. Not after loneliness had convinced them love was too dangerous. Yet here they were. Still imperfect. Still healing. But together. And somehow, together was enough. One summer evening they sat in the backyard beneath glowing lights while music played softly nearby. Emma rested her head on Lily's shoulder. Sophia leaned against Michael. And for the first time in many years, the house no longer felt haunted by sadness. It felt alive again. Emma took a photo of all four of them smiling together. Later that night she posted it online with a simple caption. "Families aren't always born. Sometimes they find each other after surviving heartbreak."